beautiful souls. Welcome to Cosmo Muse Tarot and a new reading today. So this one is going to be connected to, backing up a little, it is a timeless reading. Whenever you come here, you're meant to come here, but I am using some astrology of the moment for when I'm doing this reading, or at least when this reading will go live, to kind of tap in to inspiration from something going on. So Mercury is moving into Virgo when this reading is going to be uploaded. And last year, Mercury had a long kind of retrograde phase in Virgo, which is the time, like when a planet goes retrograde, we're kind of coming to an end of its journey in a particular energy. And so Mercury, the planet of mind and connection and ideas and movement, was wrapping up some things in the Virgo energy, which has to do with wellness, lifestyle, work, processes, refinement and editing. So there were some things that were kind of like tying up last year as Mercury went through this sign, but this year when it goes through, it's coming into a really, really fresh cycle. So if you come to this reading right when it uploads, you may really tap into the potency of this. We're going to look at what kind of like new growth are you coming into? And I'm not going to like really fastidiously focus on specifically in Virgo energy, because Virgo can be manifested in a lot of different ways and connect to a lot of different types of categories of life based on your own particular chart. So I'm more tapping into that there's something new happening, there's some new growth happening. But to get to what that new growth is, what those new questions and ideas and, sense of wonder and curiosity is, I first will look at sort of what you've transcended. What is that thing you gained a lot of sort of wisdom and understanding in that has been the springboard to a new sense of wonder, curiosity, and growth in ideas and connections that is coming through. So if you come to this at a totally different time, you could have your own transits that are kind of connecting into the same kind of energy, or maybe Mercury is also doing this in another sign, which is another reason why I don't want to be like really specific about this being Virgo and just like more focusing on the Mercury part. So whenever you're drawn here is correct, but there is some astrology of the moment I am inspired by for this reading. Okay, so we're going to pick 3 piles for you guys to get started here. I feel like this one wanted to come out. Blue Cohosh. See, and we got 2 piles that popped right out there. So we've got Aconite and Iris. Beautiful. I love all of these images and colors. A lot of beauty going on here. Okay, so if you feel drawn to more than one pile, feel free to do multiple piles. Maybe you have a lot of Mercury energy in you and have been coming into a lot of new senses of understanding and wisdom, and hence coming into a lot of new curiosity, a new sense of wonder and questions. If you're only drawn to one, great. If you're not feeling drawn to any, come back in a couple days or a week and see if it hits for you then. So definitely feel free to pause here if you need some time to tune into these 3 piles. And when you are ready, timestamps, as always, will be in the descriptions, and I will see you guys in your readings. Hello, beautiful pile 1. Welcome to your reading, where we are going to look at some energy around the planet Mercury, which is our planet of ideas, connection, movement, communication, And so looking at what you've come into a whole cycle of understanding and awakening in. And then we will, once we look at that, what that gives, that being a springboard for allowing you to have new questions, hold a new sense of wonder, explore new ways of thinking and new curiosities. So we're first going to look at the thing you kind of have overcome or found a lot of understanding around. So the card representing this for you is blue cohosh. And the main theme keyword in the guidebook for this is the loosener. And what it means about the loosener, what that is in reference to, is that this plant energy is one that helps you to let go of attachments, to being more in this anxious state of mirroring others, really paying too much attention to what others are doing, thinking, saying, and then as a mirror kind of reacting to that rather than from your truth. Is to something versus from you. And so I think over the last, I feel like when Mercury kind of reboots a cycle in a sign, it's a 3 to 4 year process. So it's been a multi-year thing where you've been learning to see this, witness it, understand ways in which you maybe have been more reactionary than you would like to be, and working on figuring out how to be able to step back, how to be more present to your own energy, your own sort of wants and desires, and not so attached to kind of reacting to other people's things. And so there's some kind of understanding that's come through, whether you're conscious of it or not, where you've become more present to yourself and more present to a moment and more present to how things are unfolding. And because we're talking about Mercury here, I would say this would probably be about communications, more present to response rather than reaction, and that response helping you to come from a more true place within you, to move communication further and move things ahead in your life in a way that is aligned and resonating with you, and not just sort of reacting to what is in the atmosphere and what's going on around you and what other people are doing. Being able to sort of calm your nervous system, calm this, and loosen that ability to be so tuned in to what others are doing. Not that it's bad to be present and aware of others and conscientious, right? But not feeling this need to just be this mirror to and for others. Really being able to come from yourself, even though you're aware of what's going on around you, and having conscientiousness, you're still able to keep a loose attachment in that awareness and really check in with yourself and be okay, but what is it that I need in this moment? What is it that, where do I see this going? What's the best outcome that I see here? And being able to communicate and make connection and move, these types of things forward from a place that's more true to you, right? So yeah, great work on that. So this is saying you've really come into some understanding around this and how to do this, and woken up to maybe some patterns that were preventing you from doing that well in the past. So we're going to use that as, because you have this new understanding and this awakening in this kind of energy, what is that allowing? What kind of space has opened up in you, to have new kinds of curiosities, new learning journeys, a new sense of wonder and new ideas and thoughts and questions, right? Like, what is that next journey about? So I'm going to pick a card from the season of the witch, and specifically from the Lammas season. And I will read from the book for this one, just to get the intention of the creator of the deck for these. Okay, let's take this top card. Dried flowers. Okay, the little sentence at the bottom says, take solace in knowing that the end of a journey marks the dawning of a new one, which is interesting. That's sort of what in general this reading is about. So let's see if the guidebook gives any more insight into that, because I think we've kind of covered that that's what this, we're here for. Okay. Keywords: death and rebirth, new life. So my sense with this is that this new understanding you've come into, this new sort of ability to be present to your own truth in how you respond and take life in and respond to life and communicate things, is something that was big. This isn't just like, oh, that was a great lesson to learn. I did need a little, fine tuning there. Like, I think this is something that has like really, really impacted your life. Like, this was a very, very big lesson and a very big understanding for you to grasp. And so in that sense of this, like, being a springboard for new questions and curiosities, it's almost like, because of how powerful of an understanding that was needed here and transformation that was needed here, it's like, yes, that obviously this reading is about, making room for new curiosity, but this is saying, but for you, it's not just, whimsical, like, oh, new questions, a new cycle of, growth for mind and idea and connections. So it's like, this is a new chapter for you as a whole. So I do feel that a lot of people that have been, you don't have to have this, but my sense is that a lot of people drawn to this pile probably have Mercury as a strong planet in their chart. So either a sun, rising, or moon sign that's ruled by Mercury, so a Virgo or Gemini in one of those three placements, or Mercury being on an angle in your house, like on your ascendant or your relationship line or your home line or your career line. Those are kind of the angular spots that are really sensitive in our chart. Something like that. It doesn't have to be, but my sense is Mercury is probably very important for most people who came here in their charts. So this understanding is really foundational for a really big new chapter for you. Like your mind in a big way has awakened. Okay, so let's read a little bit more, see what else comes out about this card. The art of drying flowers is a chance to breathe new life into death. While the flowers may never be as vibrant or expressive as they were in their youthful days, there is still so much beauty left to be had, and now their beauty can be preserved. There is a sort of reverence in allowing things to mature. They become exalted, having earned their place as everlasting symbols of success, and there is a chance for what was to be born again, but with more complexity, interest, and the ability to stand the test of time. So maybe like you're what I'm getting here, and there's a little more to read, so just bear with me, is that maybe rather than there being new questions coming up for you, it's sort of like the same questions, but with a whole new awakened sense of perspective and intuition, and just building on this foundation. New understanding in being true to you. And so then, like, furthering that, right? Taking that a step further. Like, I now feel I've found my power with this, so what can I do with this? So what are the questions arising around a newfound sense of empowerment you found? And so, like, how can I use that empowerment? How can I be aware of how life unfolds a little differently now that I'm much more in tune with my truth resonance in how I respond to life and people and things and events and whatever. How is having a grasp and handle on that something I can now utilize to really empower myself? That's sort of what I'm feeling here. Okay, let's finish reading some of this. Modern society's relationship with death is not always a healthy expression of life. We have come to fear endings, avoiding them as much as possible. The ending of a relationship, job, or career path, a way of being, or the changing of technology often awakens deep-rooted fears of inadequacy. You may well wonder if the end means you've done something wrong, sabotaging what could have been joyous and successful, or perhaps there is concern that you were never on the correct path to begin with. You have or are reaching the end of one journey, but it doesn't represent a misstep or failing on your part. In fact, this ending represents your evolution. Because with the fresh beginning making its way to you, you can expect to have deeper awareness, greater wisdom, more respect for yourself and others, and a much more robust level of experience. That's what I was just saying. So also in some of your recognition, because you're changing your vibration and how you're in tune with your own truth rather than in tune with reactivity, there could be some endings going on in your life in terms of Mercury has a lot to do with like community and like the people we do communicate with day to day. So like this could be in relationship to, you know, your workplace. Maybe you realize your workplace isn't suitable for you, and so you have found a different job, and so there's an ending in that capacity. Or there's certain communities you've felt a certain sense of belonging with, whether they're ones that have to do with an interest or ones that are more social. You may be like, I'm just not aligned with this, you know, these peers, whether that's work, cause related, or social related. So you may be feeling some endings, but it's saying like, don't feel like that's a failure or like you're losing something. You're vibrating differently in a much more evolved and beautiful way, and that is going to make an opening for new connection and new communities to come in. Okay, let's see where I left off. Let's see, I'll probably repeat one sentence. In fact, this ending represents your evolution because with the fresh beginning making its way to you, you can expect to have deeper awareness, greater wisdom, and more respect for yourself and others, and a much more robust level of experience. Celebrate how far you've come and how much more you still have to give. Rather than assuming fault in yourself, consider how the ending of one thing only represents the new life of something else. One doesn't have to be better than the other, nor does the beauty of what came before diminish simply because something different has taken its place. Both versions can have their season and time, equally expressing beauty in a new and ever-evolving way. Yes, I love this. I think this, you know, and I get it. I feel that there is probably some grieving going on here, but, and maybe this sense, you know, in an ending of some emptiness. And it's fine to take your time with that, but there's something much more powerful happening under the surface, that awareness that has become ingrained as a deeper awareness. It's a more profound awareness, and it's a higher vibrating awareness. And yeah, so just sort of take your time, grieve what you need to grieve, but don't feel a sense of fault here. Don't feel a sense of, if you feel like something's ending or falling apart at the moment, you don't have to take it so personally or judge it or exile certain things and people. Just allow things to happen naturally and gently, and grieve what you need to grieve, and just allow that there's a natural process going on, and that any emptiness you might feel right now is about to be filled with something much more aligned and vibrant for you, aligned to the certain work and understanding that you have done. Okay, let's get a goddess. Ooh, one just came out flying. That wants to be present with this kind of new Mercury journey. And of course, we got the Morrigan, death and magic, which is kind of just a confirmation saying the same thing. But you do have protection around you and some guidance around you in the spirit world that really understands the transformation, how deep and potent of the kinds of understandings you're coming into and the kinds of transformation that is resulting in your life. There is guidance around you, there's protection around you, and ultimately that guidance and protection and the experiences you've been through and the understandings that are really settling within you are ones that are going to make you feel much more deeply and presently aware of life, and it's just like adding more gravity to the sense of power you feel in being alive and in being in connection. There's just like a much deeper, profound understanding coming through here. And so you're not taking, like there could be knowing kind of the understandings you've come into make me feel that some of you may have been a little bit more light about connection in the past, a little more I don't say this in a negative sense, but a little bit more shallow or flippant about sociality and connection. But something's changing there. And when I say shallow, I don't want to put a negative connotation on that. It's like pollinator energy. It's light, it's on the surface, it moves things. There's a need for things sometimes to be that in order to create new pathways, in order to create new possibility. But it is like a little bit more of like a teenage mode to be in. And so there's maybe just some, I don't know that that's you overall, but maybe there's some mode in the past few years where that's been necessary in your life to create new pathways and possibilities. But in being more light and fickle with connection, in order to do that, it's like you've had to learn some lessons about reactivity, and you've got it, right? You understand it, but even if this was just a couple year thing for you, you learned something that was beyond what you ever knew about the gravity and importance and magic of connection. And so whatever fills the space of what is leaving is going to have so much potency, so much power, and so much magic in it. And it will have gravity, and you will take it with a sense of gravity. You will put your gravity in it. You will let others put their gravity in it. It will be much more alchemical, important, weighted, mature. It's like you're skipping, because that sort of pollinator way of connecting is very spring-like. And it's like you're skipping over summer and straight to sort of end of autumn, early winter energy in your maturity of connection. And so it's like whatever you learned, whatever understandings you've come into, it's like you're skipping many grades. Like you got like something really clicked, and it's like you just got a whole huge amount of download in, you know, a couple year period of time, in a 2-3 year period of time. And it's like skipping all the way ahead to really potent, mature, wise, powerful understandings. Okay, we're gonna get a few tarot cards. Oh, sorry, I'm shuffling the goddess deck. A few tarot cards, just as like extra confirmation or information. Page of Wands. Yeah, that confirms what I was feeling about the lessons you've learned. There's been just a lightness, but in a beautiful way. You know, the last few years have maybe been just like social in a light way, social in a way of like seeing what's out there, trying different things, being light with community and connection and communication. And that has served a beautiful purpose, but there's something deeper in the understandings you've come into that you're craving now. Ace of Pentacles. Yeah, the things you have learned, there's like a new magnetic potency in sort of a pragmatic value in connection and communication, of wanting things that are more stable, things that are more grounded, and things that are more empowered too. Yeah. Okay, last card. Three of Wands. I love seeing that. Your ship's coming in. I feel like, however this resonates to you, if it relates more to the way you're communicating, or more towards your sense of community and belonging, or more towards just a general sense of lifestyle, this overall shift that's taking place, whatever it is, it's like your ship is coming in, and with it, a much more beautiful, aligned, vibrant, vital way of being and connecting, arriving for you. So really gorgeous, beautiful reading. Wow, I didn't expect these readings to be like that deep and intense. Yours definitely was. So huge lessons you've come into and found understanding in and leveled up in. And so, you know, equally some huge changes and new things about to come in to match that in this new kind of cycle. All right, if this resonated, I always appreciate support. Likes, shares, subscribes are always great ways to do that. Kind and thoughtful comments are something I always appreciate as well. Love to hear from you guys. And just hope to see you guys in future readings, and good luck with this, what feels like a big transformation in your life overall. So yeah, good luck with that. I think it's beautiful, but I do get there's some weight there, and maybe some things that you're dealing with in terms of endings, but hopefully this gave you some insight of like why that is, and not to take it too personally, and to have something to look forward here. All right, see you guys. Welcome, pile 2, to your reading, where we are going to look at what kind of big new understandings have you come into recently that are paving the way for you to have a whole new fresh sense of wonder and questions and way of connecting. So this reading is connected to the planet Mercury. You can come here whenever you're called to. This reading is the exact perfect time, but when I'm doing this, Mercury is sort of getting a reboot moment. It's come into some wise understandings and compassion, and moving into a new cycle of growth. So we first want to look at the thing that you've come into some transcending energy with, some big understandings with. And for you, I'm shocked with these readings. I was kind of expecting them to be a little bit more fun. But so far, we're getting some really powerful, intense things coming through. So it's interesting. So for you guys, you have aconite representing the thing that your mind, your sense of communication, your mentality, your sense of belonging in life has learned some big lessons in and come to some ultimate understanding in. And it has a lot to do with that, you know, we all have things that take place in life that create a lot of intensity in our minds. And some of us are able to transmute that better than others, deal with that intensity, move it, and find a way through some intense thoughts and feelings. And this is indicating that you've had a really, really major level up in this. Like, you may be someone who in the past has had a hard time knowing what to do with intense emotions. And what you've learned is that the more you hold on to those, whether that's anger, rage, jealousy, whatever, those types of things, that like the longer you hold on to those, the more they impact you than another or a circumstance or others, right? It's your health, it's your mental health, even your physical health sometimes, because our mental health can affect our physical health. Your mentality that's the thing suffering when you hold on to these things, when you hold on to intensity and struggle to find a way to transmute sort of the poison that is in you, that's in your mind, that then seeps into all sorts of places. And it's like you've come into some really powerful understanding that it's a necessary thing to transmute this, that it only ends up impacting you negatively in the long run, which is the opposite of what you would want to have happen. And the way through that is very courageous. The way to transmute those poisons and those really intense mentalities that create toxicity within us, it's a very, very courageous thing to do, because you have to choose love over that. And that can feel impossible sometimes. But you've come into some understanding about how to do that, how to switch, and it isn't necessarily about forgiveness, right? But it's about this sense of recognizing that, and this is actually interesting because I feel like I'm all of a sudden having my own aha where I'm like, oh, this might be my pile, and I don't want to project myself in here, but I will give an example sort of an example that came up, or just my own process with feelings, not what they came from. Like recently coming into this understanding that, there was something that happened, we'll say in the last year, that really, really upset me. And there was some other kind of mindfulness training I had been doing that helped me to grasp that there are like levels of maturity in people and how to recognize where those levels are. And that sort of like when you're able to recognize like someone's just not, or some circumstance or some group or whatever is just not at a level of maturity to even be able to hold what you would want to make them accountable for. It's like, for me, I had that recognition that like I have to let go of this because there's never going to be accountability. There's a level of maturity that will never know how to hold accountability in this kind of nuanced way. And so because there's a never there, at least for now, recognizing that I just had to change my expectations and I had to shift my boundaries. And to me, that was choosing love for myself, right? It wasn't forgiving what happened, but it was saying, like, I have to love myself enough to detach from this and to let it go, because I'm never going to find a resolution there. And so I can just choose love for myself and look for better things, right? Better circumstances. And now I very much so understand those types of red flags to watch for, to avoid circumstances that would be a repeat or put me in same situations. I know this is all very cryptic, but you may be able to see something about what I just said and some understandings you've come into. Maybe it's a very different way that you've chosen love. Maybe whatever you're contending with, or the way in which you've held some toxic emotions and intense emotions, those are things that on the other side there could be accountability for, and you found a way to kind of bridge that and find some bridge building and find some resolution and find some accountability, or whatever it is for you. Like, it doesn't have to be my scenario, but maybe things I said might resonate, of like, yeah, what happened was different, and but I do recognize that, like, I chose love in some capacity, whether it was for myself or for a situation or for, like, whatever it is, but some form of love that was able to dilute and then dissolve that intensity that was making you suffer, that you were holding on to, that was yours to deal with because it was in you, right? And so big understanding coming through of, like, knowing that you are accountable for the toxic and intense feelings within yourself, and finding some choice of love to overcome that, right? Whatever that may be. So some, really powerful lesson to kind of come into and understand and navigate. But ultimately, like, for me, what it was, and I would imagine for you as well, just realizing that what you feel in you is yours to deal with. What you feel in you that is harming your mentality and then ultimately body is yours to move through you somehow. That's your responsibility because it's in you. And the way you do that is through love, and it doesn't have to look like forgiveness, right? It doesn't have to, but there's some way to get out feelings of anger, rage, jealousy, hatred, revenge would be another one. There's all sorts of, those are just, the ones that are coming to mind, but there's all sorts of hard emotions that we can hold that are really, really difficult to move through. But yeah, if you've come to this pile, whether you're really aware of it or not, I think you've found some way to move those in you, and some recognition that because you are holding them, you're accountable for them to do something with them. Okay, so moving on from that, let's see, with this big understanding, this big lesson, aha, that you've had, what kind of opening and fresh potential is that paving the way for you to have new kinds of curiosity, new sense of wonder? What is this opening the door for you in terms of connection, of community, of the way you learn, of the way you take care of your mental health? All of these things are very Mercury related. And for this group, it might have to do with mental health, like how you take care of your mental health, but it could be any of these that I said. And we have corn. I'm going to read from the guidebook a little bit for this. It's from the season of the witch, the Lammas season. And it says, let spirit guide you and take meaningful action. Dreams become reality when combined with purposeful intent and action. Yeah, very kind of spiritual energy there, like more trust in spirit and the divine. Dreams become reality when combined with purposeful intent and action. Yeah, it's sort of like connecting to what you want in life, like finding, like connecting to your dreams and giving them up to spirit, right? To say, you know, what is my path? Sometimes there's things that we want and it's just like whatever we do, we just constantly hit our head against the wall with it. And sometimes that's that thing to be like, okay, well, look up and see what is open to you. And no matter what path is sort of opening to you and allowing you to move through it, there's probably some kind of dream you can connect to in that trajectory. And so it's like that trust in saying like, okay, what is open to me? And once I recognize it, like, let's connect to a dream for this path that's open. Let's do something with it. Let's take action in this path that is open, that spirit is guiding me towards and saying like, hey, this way, this way. Yeah, so let's read from the guidebook a little about this. A little more about this, I should say. Let's see. Keywords: sacred feminine energy, mother goddess, receptivity, and balance. This is your invitation to open yourself up to the inner workings of your spirit and navigate your decisions and actions from a place of authenticity and balance. Corn represents both the sun and the sacred feminine, represented by the corn mother and corn maiden. It is a symbol of tempering action with allowing what you desire to come to you. Oh, I love that. In a reading, this card is guiding you to approach situations from both head and the heart. From both the head and the heart. You are being asked to stay open to spirit while also grounding your desires in the physical world. Dreams without action are fantasy, and action without intention is wasted time. Likewise, there are times when you need to push and times when you should sit back and let things come to you. It's a constant dance of refining, always tinkering, until you get just the right formula. Rereading the meaning of this card while paying attention to what feels like the right path forward, action or receptivity, because that is what is required most at this time to address your question. So this new kind of cycle of Mercury, I feel like there's a new wisdom around potency, right? There's a new wisdom around accountability for your own thoughts and actions and wellness and mental health. And that as a springboard is really allowing you to be like, okay, now that I'm being more accountable for what's in me, let's see how, it's almost like resonant, like how I'm getting very Libra-esque energy here, like how resonance works. Kind of tuning into what I was saying before, like really paying attention to like, am I hitting my head against the wall here? Oh, there is something open here. What is coming towards me and how can I open to that and allow more of that to come in? And what needs my input? What needs my assertion and my action? And it's sort of like this new curiosity coming in of like the dance of life in terms of like having dreams and intentions, like dancing between you and spirit, having this dance going on around dreams and intentions. Like I have this intention and I have this dream. Is anything coming towards me with this? Oh, there are some things coming towards me. I will receive those, but there are other things I need to have happen, and clearly I need to be the one to take some action there. And then also paying attention to like, where's that roadblock? And is that something that is something I just need to work on and overcome, or is that an actual sort of like block from spirit? And like feeling those resonances and like, what is open? Where am I being guided? And so just this like real deep dance with spirit when you ask questions and you have curiosities and you're wanting to move mind, and connection and community forward, just like really tuning into spirit to see all those dance elements of what's happening and being like very attuned to, those resonances and those back and forths and give and take and receptivity versus action. That's where I'm going to leave that. Okay, let's get a spiritual energy. What kind of guidance is around you with this new Mercury journey? What goddess energy wants to kind of help and guide, which might give a little more insight into also what's coming, what this new sense of dance with spirit and intention and dreams are. Like this. Artemis, focus. So I think you're being guided, you're being protected, but also guided to like really picking up on that intention thread with this corn card. Really being asked to make clear intentions. What is your focus? What are you aiming at? What is the big, instead of like being curious about all sorts of things and opening your, this new Mercury journey to all kinds of learning and just pollinating things and like what's out there, really honing in on like one big main focus and question, one big main target or goal that your mind is very interested in and intrigued by, that pushes your boundaries a little. Find that big picture dream and vision, and then play with spirit in terms of how it's wanting you to move towards that. Where do you need to pivot? Where do you need to take a detour? Where are things actually just happening for you? And how can you just let certain things happen for you? Certain currents pick you up and help you along the way. And where do you need to, put in your own sort of groundwork and, just paying attention to, detours you're asked to go on, tweaks you're asked to make, but keeping that dream, that vision, that intention in sight. Beautiful. I love that. Okay, we're just, I did that last reading too. When I went to get the tarot deck to do the last few cards, I was shuffling the goddess deck instead, and I almost did that again. Okay, we're just going to get a confirmation tarot for each of the cards that came out. Let's see, and we had 3 just fall right out. So 4 of Pentacles under Aconite. Yeah, you found new strength. There was something you were building a lot of strength in understanding, and like a lot of contemplation as well, in understanding the value of taking accountability for your own mind's wellness, your own mental health, and the thoughts and feelings rambling around in your mental health arena. There was something you were doing a lot of sort of depth work with, but this deep recognition that in my practical life, pragmatically, this is mine to tend to do something with, to move through me. And also learning how to do that, learning how to take accountability and move difficult things through my mind and emotions is something that ultimately just brings me a greater sense of stability in life and foundation in life. I feel stronger in my own life when I'm accountable for what's in me and do something with that. And also it's like a very inward personal journey you have to do. There's something that's very interior about it. But I think right now you're really proud and feeling really stable about how you've done that. And it's giving you, a new sense of kind of foundation. Yeah, that's beautiful. Okay, and then we had the Empress under Corn. Yes, creation is coming out of you now. Feeling stable to create, but there's a specific thing, right? With Artemis, there's something specific, a specific aim, not just creating to create, but something that you're like deeply focused and reaching towards, aiming towards. And then Justice. Ooh, I love it. Yeah, so I think whatever journey you go on next in terms of mind and connection and curiosity, it's like, two major arcanas here. It's important, like find that vision, and it's bringing whatever that vision or dream is, it is bringing you balance, and it's something you're due. And that's why I think Spirit really wants to respond and work with you and dance with you. And it's interesting, I was picking up a lot of Libra energy with that because Justice is a Libra card. Like I think Spirit is saying like you're due some positive outcomes with big dreams, with big ideas, with big curiosities. It's time to balance out some karma, and you're due some big wins here. So dream big, aim big. Spirit will help you to find the resonance, to find the right path, to help you to find that balance of give and take, of receiving and asserting, and knowing how to navigate and how to make tweaks and pivots. There's just pay attention to resonance, right? It's like there's so much guidance around you in that. And also Justice being the 11 card, it's like there's a paradigm shift coming in. So mental health paradigm shift, which is really empowering your belief in your dreams, your belief in a big goal, and some good karma awaiting, wanting to come in for you with whatever Mercury is doing. Have fun with that over the next this particular Mercury journey with Virgo. And I don't want to totally tie in a sign, but because you might be coming at a different time and it might be a new Mercury journey with another sign. But if you come here right when this uploads, it is a Mercury journey with Virgo, and it's a couple years and of that, of 3 or so years of building upon what's coming out here, some big dream and vision. Okay, this is where I'm going to leave you guys. I hope this resonated. If so, I always appreciate support with likes, shares, and subscribes. Always grateful for kind and thoughtful comments as well. And good luck with whatever big dream is coming in. And, huge, just kudos to you for really mastering and finding some big understanding about how to transmute some intensity and infuse it with love in some way, however that works for you, right? Okay, hope to see you guys in future readings. Hello, Pile 3. Welcome to your reading, where we are going to look at a new Mercury journey. So Mercury being the planet of the mind, connection, learning, community, pollinating pathways in life. It's ended one journey in one particular zodiac sign. I want to kind of keep that more open in case people come here at a different time, because Mercury, does this often. But it takes a few years for it to reboot a journey in one particular sign. So whenever you come here, it's probably happening in some sign. So Mercury ending kind of a journey in its energy with one sign, which takes 3 or 4 years, and rebooting a new journey. So we want to first look at what kind of understanding, what have you transcended in a Mercury journey around mind, and then looking at that, what new understandings have come through, how is that laying the path for new questions, new curiosity, what's about to come in, what's this new journey and gonna maybe enmesh with, or what kind of energy is opening to you with it. So tapping into what you have learned over the last 3 or so years, and the big understandings you've come into, the transcendent, what you've transcended in mind. We have Iris, and this is such a beautiful one. I love seeing this. You may have picked multiple piles, and if you did, you will know that whichever one you went, whether it was pile 1 or 2 or both, they were very, very intense readings. And I love seeing this because this is a little bit lighter. But still as potent, still as has the same kind of, there's a lot of weight to what's been learned here. Just maybe a little less treacherous as the first 2 piles. Not that they were both amazing, beautiful, gorgeous readings, but yeah. I'll leave it with that in case you want to go check one of those out. But with Iris, what you've come into learning is it's like you've had a new upgrade, I think, in how you speak to yourself, how you think about yourself, how you speak about yourself, how you consider yourself, with this kind of transformation that's come in around maybe even feeling yourself as, or thinking about yourself as boring or dull or just even lost, and really being able to find that when I tap into the true nature of my mind and open to its questions and open to its curiosity and open to its sense of wonder, when I am present to life and present to nature and how incredible this planet is and humans are, and all the when we're really present to life, it is crazy magic, and nothing's mundane or monotonous about it. It's all, there's so much to witness, so much to learn, so much around us that we don't pay attention to when we're just in autopilot. And so I think over the last few years you've gone on this learning journey of how to switch from that kind of autopilot mode, that monotonous mode, into being more present, just to the magic that's everywhere. And in doing that, finding and connecting much more deeply to the magic you hold, and starting to like a mirror from nature, and how your mind starts witnessing things, that then reflecting back to you, that those are your magical questions. Those are your magical observations. That means you're magical, right? So then you start thinking about yourself as this magical, majestic, artful, creative being. And so there's just this real switch in how you consider yourself, how you think about yourself, because you're relating to the magic of the world around you differently with your mind. So beautiful, beautiful understandings that you come into. And I mean, just what a gorgeous kind of thing to, have a transcendent understanding with, of I can choose to be magical. I can choose to consider myself a very artful person in the way that I'm just present. I don't have to be smart. I don't have to be the greatest sculptor or painter in the world, but I can be a magical artist and consider myself that by being present to the magic and artfulness that just is present in life, in nature, in everything around me. Just by the way I witness, what I witness is what I am, right? And just this thing clicking in of what I witness is enchanting, so I'm enchanting, or regal, so I'm regal, or, whatever it is for you. So beautiful, gorgeous work, you guys. So something about that is opening up to a whole new path of growth for you in terms of how you use your mind, how you think, how you learn. This pile feels definitely connected to like inner mind, inner thoughts, inner way of using curiosity, being present even to curiosity, being present to your mind. But so let's see what is built, the new kind of growth coming in here. I love it, Meadow. That feels very fitting. I'm going to read from the guidebook for this. This is the Season of the Witch deck for the Lammas season. Okay, so the sentence under here says, let your being be as full and vibrant as a summer meadow. I can't believe it. That's so in line with like what I was feeling going on here. So there's just, I feel like just building upon what you've come into understanding with. But let's see what else the card says. Okay, keywords: openness, full heart, gentle spaces. I think you're just this new kind of switch that's come in of like how you consider yourself as a more artful person, present to life and wonder, is like, it's just opening up you to a new journey of being open, of being just, feeling much more in touch with the subtleties of the magic of life. Okay, let's see what this card says. Meadow is a gentle card that encourages you to open your heart space and let your love spill out into the world. I feel like you're just starting to unleash your artistry, like just, now I consider myself artful. I don't necessarily have to be an artist by profession, but I'm feeling something artful in me. So like, why not express that, experiment with it, play with it? That's what I'm feeling here. This is a card about connection, softness, and giving with a full heart. And when receiving in a reading, it is a sign that you are ready for love. Ooh, that could also be coming in for this Mercury journey, open to connecting with, there is a really strong relationship between heart and mind. And our mind is, that Mercury, that mind stuff is more of a tool for the heart. The heart's the one supposed to be in charge, and then our mind the tool to enact and move what the heart is talking and leading you towards. So if you're, I don't know, maybe for some of you, if you're single or need a reboot in some way, like your heart is like, heart opening, and that's really affecting how you're thinking and what your mind is leading you towards, right? This is the most auspicious card for relationships, and it means many things for the heart and home. To begin with, it is a sign that any wounds you have carried from previous relationships are healed now, and your spirit has room for the ability to allow a supportive partner to begin with, it is a sign that any wounds you have carried from previous relationships are healed now, and your spirit has room and the ability to allow a supportive partner to bring nourishment and joy to your life. For those who are already committed, this card can represent a marriage, birth, or easing into the retirement phase of life. In all scenarios, you can expect a happy home and being surrounded by the people and things you love. This card represents the happily ever after, a harmonious space, emotional fulfillment, and so much joy that your being will feel as big and fresh as a summer meadow. In the realm of money and career, this card can mean receiving help from a family member or going into a family business. Interesting. So definitely a heart opening coming in here. And, whatever that means for you, whatever that leads and brings into your life, whether that be in the realm of relationship or just in the realm of a more artful connection to life and exploring that. But there is something about like your mind and your heart, like whatever your mind has transcended, that more beautiful, artful consideration of yourself and how you think about yourself. Self-speak is like really, really plugged into your heart, and that has opened your heart. And so there's just like a really heart-centered connection to this next Mercury journey, which is beautiful. Okay, one just flew out here. I was going to get a goddess card to show what kind of like guidance and protection is around you in this new Mercury journey. And we have Sophia with divine wisdom, which is beautiful. It just feels like the feeling I get here is like you have dropped into divine wisdom. Your mind, the way you speak to yourself, the way you think about life and notice life and are present to the magic of it has just leveled you up into your own sense of divine wisdom. And so that heart opening, that connection to your own divinity is just like, yeah, I just feel like this next Mercury journey, let's say for whatever sign Mercury's in for when you come here, and if you come here right when this is posted, that's Virgo. There's just like wisdom in that energy that you're learning a lot about. You're gaining a lot of wisdom in a certain energy. So if that is Virgo for you, a lot of wisdom around well-being, around finding more holistic, thoughtful, sacred lifestyle, knowing what's important to you and curating a life that feels curing and curative to you, right? Weeding out anything that's superfluous, weeding out things that aren't really you, weeding out any of the things that just are no longer important. And clearly part of that lifestyle element of Virgo, if you're here in the present of this being posted, is love, like really integrating it, like love and relationship and heart opening as integral to your well-being and your lifestyle. Yeah, really beautiful. Yeah, we're kind of cruising through this reading because it's like straightforward and beautiful and simple and but nonetheless potent, right? It's powerful. It's still like really big stuff going on here. Okay, let's get to end this, a tarot card under each of the cards we already have out, just as kind of like extra context, extra confirmation, however it wants to speak. So we've got Knight of Wands under the Iris. Yeah, something is enlivened in you. I do feel like, yeah, you've had a couple of years maybe battling even potentially some depression or stress or anxiety, you know, something that's been lowered your sense of mental health and sense of connection to life as magical. There's something you've overcome in this, and you've really connected now in transcending some more mundane, monotonous connection to life, plugging into your sense of adventure, your sense of eagerness, your sense of wanting to, you know, put your heart and passion into the world and move it and have some adventure with it, right? Really fun. Which makes me think that the next couple years are going to be kind of adventurous in terms of mind. Six of Cups under Meadow. You may be reconnecting a little bit more with your inner child too. A sense of, yeah, I mean, that makes sense. That inner child is very much so connected to that sense of wonder and life as magical. So you may be tapping into like childhood memories of feeling that way, and it kind of getting a reboot, a lot of nostalgia coming up in a like in the most beautiful, positive way imaginable, because it's reconnecting you to your inner child, which is more your essence, your pure essence, more your nature essence. Really gorgeous. Okay, last tarot card. Oops. And we also have Knight of Swords too. A lot of fast-paced energy here. So I see a lot of action taking place, but oh wait, no, this is I was reading that as Knight of Swords. And that was funny because I'm like, wow, an owl doesn't really feel like a knight. So I'm glad I noticed that was king, not knight. Yes, I like King of Swords under Divine Wisdom. Really, really coming into a masterful feeling with your mind. But not getting into sort of complexes of needing to be an intellectual authority. Coming from a place that's more tapped into some divinity and some wisdom and some calmness of mind. And using that authority you're feeling in mind in a way that is artful, that is spiritual. Even though it is a little bit intellectual, there's a wisdom seeping through it all that's very, the divine wisdom seeping through this mental mastery. And part of that mental mastery is knowing that mind is a tool of the heart. Yeah, I like that last thought. Beautiful, gorgeous reading. I love this one. Good luck with these new kind of coming out of some big understandings in the next weeks and moving into this more kind of heart-centered, inner child-centered, divine and wise and eager and magically oriented kind of connection to life and love and even relationships. So all right, this is where I'm going to leave you guys. I hope it resonated. If so, I always appreciate support with likes, shares, subscribes. I'm always grateful for kind and thoughtful comments as well. And I hope to see you guys in future readings.